Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode here in NHL 21. So in last episode, we were the cheese team against the Ottawa Senators as we managed to sweep them despite them having 50 wins in the regular season. As you can see, it was a pretty interesting series. We won 1-0 in game 1. Then there was a very offensive game 2 where we won 7-5. Then we had a good defensive game 2-1 in game 3, and then a good offensive game, especially in that third period where we won 6-3. We were originally down 3-2 going into that third period, but then we came back with 4 goals in that third. So we're taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning in the playoffs in the second round. We have never beaten this team in the playoffs before. We lost to them like 5 times, I think, at least in this series alone, and I hope we could actually beat this team. They had a kind of a similar record to us where they finished 43-31-8, while we finished 41-32-9. They have the better record in their last 10 games going into the playoffs, so I am kind of scared by that. And their roster is actually not too bad either. It has changed a bit since we last played them in the postseason, which was I think 2 or 3 seasons ago. But as you can see, they still have Enroth, and they also have guys like St. Denis, I think, still. But they do have a lot of veterans and some guys that they brought in, like Braden Wilm, who they brought in from Colorado, who is a very good offensive player. But they do have a veteran-heavy second line in Kachuk, Point, and Reinhardt. They also brought in our former center, Nelson Parent, who used to play on like the 4th line, was a very good face-off man for us, and yeah, he decided to sign there in the offseason where he actually had his best season yet in his NHL career, and he's almost point per game in the playoffs so far. And yeah, they also still have Mikko Rantanen on their 4th line. As for their defense, they have a lot of older veterans that are dropping off, like Sergachev. They have our former defenseman in Moritz Seider. But they do have a good young top 6 in Halverson and Hayter, which is not too bad. And in goaltending-wise, they are still running with Caden Primo after all these years, so I wouldn't say their goaltending's that strong, but he has been good for them. And then there is their depth as well, so should be a very interesting second round, and I really hope that we could actually slay this demon, because if we lose to Tampa Bay in the playoffs again, I am going to be pissed off, because this team has gone through so many ups and downs over the last like 6 or 7 seasons that we really need to actually win a Stanley Cup as soon as possible. So yeah, anyways, let's get into this first round matchup against Tampa, see if we could actually beat these guys for a change, and see if we can continue that momentum we got from beating a 50-win Ottawa Senators team. Okay, game 1 in Tampa Bay. Let's see what happens. First period, and it's scoreless. I'll take that. That's pretty good opening period. Shots are 9-7 in favor of us, but nobody has scored yet. Pretty similar to game 1 against the Sens, where it was quiet for the first, I think it was the first period at least, and I think we might have scored in the second period. I can't remember exactly, but second period, we're up 2-1. Let's go. Nichols having a good game so far. Salmon and those scores short-handed for them to make it 1-0, but then Digman scores a power play goal. He didn't really score, I don't think, any goals in that first round, if I'm not mistaken. And then Hillis, who didn't have any points in that first round, gets on the board to make it a 2-1 game for us. Shots are 19-15 in favor of your Detroit Red Wings. Can we lock this one down here in the third and get maybe some insurance? Come on, boys. I believe in you. There we go. Biggs scores to make it 3-1. Biggs also had a quiet first round. He only had like 1 assist. So it's good to see those guys that had a quiet first round actually producing here in this second round. Final few minutes of this first game of the series. And we're going to win 4-1 as Alexandrov decides to put a dagger into Caden Primo. And we win 4-1 in game 1. So a pretty good defensive effort and a pretty solid offensive one as well. So Dingman from Powell and Matthews, Hillis from McDavid and Larson, Biggs from Powell and Bouillon, and Alexandrov from Savonin and Biggs. Not too bad of a game for sure. Let me actually go to our stats for fun and just see if there's any really badly minus players, which there probably wasn't. There was only 3 minus players, and it was some of our top guys. But Connor McDavid, a +2 with 1 assist and 5 shots, definitely carrying that offensive flow like I want him to, because I brought him in just to kind of help our team out offensively in a very good first game from Gustavo Nickel. So Biggs is going to get first star with 2 points, Salmonen gets second star with that short-handed goal, and Gustavo Nickel gets the 3rd star. Not too bad of a way to start off a round against Tampa Bay, because normally we don't win that much games against Tampa Bay in the postseason, so We got to celebrate them while we have the opportunity to. Okay, game number 2, still in Tampa Bay. Can we take a 2-0 series lead here and win our 6th straight game to start this postseason? First period, and we're up 2-1 again. Okay. DeKaiser and Biggs score for us, so Biggs is off to a really good start in the second round. He's got now like 3 points, I think, so far. And the Roth gets a power play goal, though, for them, split between the 2 goals. So it is a 2-1 lead for us. We are being outshot 13-6, so we have 2 goals on 6 shots. Looks like we're getting a little bit inside the head of Caden Primo, and hopefully that can continue this entire series. Second period, and we're up by 1 goal again as Wilm tied it up on the power play for them. But Caden Matthews scores. I don't think he scored much either in this playoff run so far. But we're up 3-2 going into the third. Once again, we are being outshot 23-15. So our team needs to get a little bit more offensive chances. I don't know if I like the fact that we're being outshot, but at least we're scoring on our opportunities. So that is good. Third period of game 2. Can we get some insurance here, please, boys? Like Bullion, you scored a decent amount in the first round. Can you score again? Final 10 minutes, and Coley Minen scores, the playmaker who really gets goals, and then Garrison makes it 5-2. Let's go, boys. This is a good start to this round against Tampa Bay. We got to exercise those demons as Yzerman makes it a 5-3 game. Final few minutes, Point makes it a 1-goal game. Thank God we held on. They almost came back in that final 5 minutes of the game, but Garrison's goal is going to be the game-winning goal, so the rookie doing what he does best and score goals, I guess you could say. So DeKaiser scores for Matthews and Savonin, Biggs for Matthews and DeKaiser, so the top 6 getting it done. Then Matthews from Dingman and Wall, Coley Minen from Powell and Larson, and Garrison from Stewart and Wall. Not too bad. Let's take a look at that plus-minus stat again, just make sure there was nobody that was badly minus, which there was only 2 minus players, and one of them was McDavid, but it could be because he was really horrible on the face-off dot for some reason that game. But we did have a couple +3 players, which is nice to see as well. So our top 6 getting it done. And it wasn't a great game from Gustavo Nickel, but at least he got the victory. 3 stars in game 2 are going to be Matthews with 3 points, DeKaiser with 2 points, and Point with 2 points. Okay, so we actually have a 2-0 series lead on Tampa Bay. We need to keep it rolling, though. If we could take a 3-0 series lead with a win on home ice, that'd be nice. We are 6-0 to start this postseason. We actually started the playoffs, I think, the exact same way last year, where we won our first 8 games, but then we ran into New Jersey, who knocked us out in like 6 games. So, yeah, our team has started postseasons well, at least last year, but then we eventually start losing games. So hopefully we could just continue to win a lot in this playoff so far. But here we go. Let's get into game 3. We're on home ice. Let's see if we can use that to our advantage and take a 3-0 series lead or a 3-1 series lead, something like that, because that would be nice. First period, and we are up 2-0 in game 3. DeKaiser with both goals. So DeKaiser's having himself a pretty good series and pretty good playoff so far. I think he's probably up there in points to lead our team, I would say, at the moment. Shots are 12-11 in favor of us, so we are out shooting them for a change, which is a nice thing to see. Second period, and we're up 4-1. Let's go. Reinhardt made it a 1-goal game on the power play, but then Bullion and Matthews score, and we're up by 3 goals going into the third. Shots are 25-21 in favor of us. Let's just see if we can lock this one down. We are definitely getting to Caden Primo right now. Let's lock this one down, boys. Penalty kill. It's a long penalty kill, and they managed to score a little bit afterwards. It's Salmonen with his second of the series. Hobbs makes it 5-2. Let's go, Hobbs. Yzerman's going to make it 5-3. Of course, Yzerman's score on Detroit, though. What the heck? Final little bit. Oh, yikes. Another late goal from St. Denis, but we do hold them off, and we win 5-4. So we've almost choked 2 times in the last 2 games, but luckily our team just barely gets away with the victory, as we're being outshot 36-29 after that game, but we win 5-4. So DeKaiser with 2 goals in the first period. One was from Dingman and Wall, one was from Dingman and Matthews, and then in the second period, Bullion from Coley Minen and Powell, and then Matthews from Dingman and Wall. So that top line is definitely getting it done. And then Hobbs' goal is going to be the game-winning goal from Stewart and Wall. So, yeah, Wall is playing really good as well. He gets second star with 3 assists, DeKaiser the first star with 2 goals, and Matthews the third star with 2 points. So we're one round win away from sweeping our second straight playoff matchup, which would be pretty awesome. Only 2 minus players, and they were both Savonin and Biggs, but that is okay. And Wall was a +4, which is pretty awesome to see. Once again, not a great game from Gustavo Nickel because of those late goals, but at least he is getting those victories, which is the most important thing in the playoffs, at least. Okay, so yeah, it's not been a very good defensive series for us against Tampa. We've allowed 9 goals in 3 games, but we have also scored 14 goals in those first 3 games, so at least our offense is kind of backing us up a bit, it seems like. Can we sweep our second straight series? That would be really crazy if we could sweep 2 straight series again like we did last year. Can we win 8 in a row? First period, and we're down 2-0. Not a good start. Enroth in point score. We're being outshot 10-9, so a little bit of an even first period, but we are getting outscored, and it's not been a good start for Gustavo. Let's see if we could have a good second period, though. Second period, down 4-0. Yikes. Well, I knew we were going to eventually lose one game. You can't just have so many wins in a row in the playoffs. Like, there's no team that ever goes 16-0 in the postseason. But Sider and Kachuk score, so their veterans are getting their goals. We're down 4-0 going into the third, despite... actually, we're being outshot 24-14. Yeah, this is definitely one we're going to lose, but at least we could maybe take this momentum that we are getting in this third period going into next game as we get 2 goals in the third period. Enroth makes it 5-2. Power play opportunity, we make it 5-3. We're having a good third period here. Maybe we'll come back and win 6-5 or 7-5. Final little few minutes. No, it doesn't look like we're going to get the win. So we do have a good third period, but we lose 5-3. So hopefully that means we will have momentum going into next game. But we get 3 power play goals in the third period. And then Enroth got a power play goal for them. So a lot of power play opportunities for both teams in that third. And we managed to get 3 goals, but we lose this game, which means we lose our first game of this playoff run so far. So our only goals, Bullion from Matthews and Dingman, DeKaiser from Hillis and Kolemainen, and Matthews from Wall and Bullion. Bullion's already got like 6 goals this postseason, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to make any like changes to our lines, even though we have allowed a lot of goals in the last 3 games. I think I'm going to leave it the same, and if we lose this game, we might make some line changes. But I'm really hoping that this team could just bounce back from that because we had a really good third period effort there. So, game number 5. Let's see if we could win the series in 5 games. First period, and we're up 2-1. There we go. Using that momentum from that third period of last game, we get 2 goals in the opening period. Bullion and Matthews. So, Bullion's up to like 7 goals already this postseason. And then Braden Point makes it a 1-goal game. Shots are 10-7 in favor of us. Second period, and we're up 4-1. Let's go. Biggs and Hillis. We are 1 period away from knocking out the Tampa Bay Lightning for the first time in this entire franchise mode, I'm pretty sure. We're being outshot 18-15, so we're getting into Primo's head, and it looks like a solid bounce back game for Gustavo Nickel. Let's lock this one down here in the third. I'm pretty impressed with this team, though. Like, I felt like when I saw what our record was like, I felt like this team was going to be a cheese team and be able to knock out higher-seeded teams, which is so far the case. As Jersey makes it a 4-2 game. Final 5 minutes of this third period. And we are going to be going... Actually, I can't say that yet. Enroth makes it a 1-goal game, but Bullion answers again. 5-3, and we're going to win this series in 5 games, and we're headed back to the conference finals for the second straight season. Let's go, boys. Finally, we actually managed to exercise the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Matthews from Bullion, Bullion from Biggs and Nickel, Biggs from McDavid and Hillis, Hillis from DeKaiser and Kolemainen, and Bullion from Matthews and DeKaiser. So yeah, Bullion's up to 7 goals in the postseason already. He gets first star with 3 points. Hillis the second star with 2 points, and Point the third star with 2 points. Finally, we beat Tampa Bay. And who are we going to probably face in the conference finals? It looks like, yeah, it's going to be Washington. I don't think we played Washington in the playoffs before. At least that I could remember. I don't even know what the roster looks like, so it's going to be interesting to find that out. Let's take a look at our player stats after the first 2 rounds, and then we will sim up to see what the Washington Capitals look like. So Matthews has got 13 points in 9 games, so our top line is definitely getting it done. Matthews is shooting 30% so far this postseason. Coley Minon's got 8 points, so he's been really good behind him. Powell's got 7 points. McDavid's got 5 points. And then Hobbs has got 2 goals, so pretty good from our centerman. Left wing wise, DeKaiser's got 10 points in 9 games. 6 of them are goals. Very nice. Hills has 4 points in 9 games. I think most of those came actually in that last round that we just played. And then Wong, 2 points in 9 games. I think he was pointless in the second round, but I could be wrong with that. Right wing wise, Boyan, 11 points in 9 games. He's got 7 goals already this postseason, which is what I like to see, because during the regular season, he almost had 3 straight 50-goal seasons, and in this season he had 39 goals only, so not as good, but he's already matched his total from last year in the postseason, so that's really nice. Dingman's got 9 points in 9 games. He's been a little bit quiet with only the 1 goal, but at least he is getting some assists, and he is getting chances. It's just he hasn't converted, it looks like. And then Garrison, 4 points in 9 games, and Alexandrov, 3 points in 9 games, so not too bad from the 2 rookies. And then defensively, Wall's got 11 points in 9 games. He's been really awesome. Biggs has got 6 points. Stewart's got 6 points in 9 games, and he's a plus 10. So yeah, Jose Stewart is probably one of the best defensive defensemen I've ever had. He was a -5 1 year, but every single season of his career, it looks like he's been a plus defenseman. And then in terms of the playoffs, he's a plus 31 in 58 games. Yeah, he gets to play in the top 2 pairing, so that might help his offensive plus minus. But he has been really good for us. He's a rock, and he's 6'5", 246, so he's a big man. Larson, 5 points. Savona, 3 points. And Aker has nothing so far, but he is an even 0. Goaltending wise, Gustavo Nicol is 8-1 with an .899 save percentage and a .301 goals against average. I'm not really a fan of Gustavo Nicol's stats, but I mean, it could be just because we played Tampa Bay, who managed to score a lot of goals, so maybe he can have a better conference finals appearance, who knows. I am still going to start him for next round, but if need be, we could always turn to Punos. Okay, let's take a look at what Washington looks like once we see what the Western Conference Finals matchup is going to be, which might be any day now, which is going to be now. It's going to be Vancouver and St. Louis in the West, and it's us and Washington here in the East. Let's advance till Game 1. And wow, okay, Washington had the exact same record as us during the regular season. We both finished 41, 32, and 9. So this is there's definitely a cheese team that's going to go on to the finals. It's either us or Washington. I don't know how Vancouver and St. Louis finished the season. I'll have to actually take a look at that, I think, after this. But let's take a look at those Washington Capitals. See if it's a team we could actually beat. So first line, they have Nikolai Ponikarovsky, who they drafted way back. This guy's really good offensively, but horrible defensively. He's had a really good playoff so far. 18 points in 10 games. Yikes. So yeah, their top line seems to be producing at a very high level right now. Isaac Lundestrom, who I think we had at one point, didn't we? Yeah, we had him for 1 season, or part of 1 season. But he's now there in Washington. He's got 8 points in 10 games. They also have Asher Bootland, who was originally drafted by the Oilers. So this guy might have played with McDavid at one point. He was really good in the regular season, and he's really good in the playoffs so far, despite him only being an 87. Second line, they have Ned Brennan, who they must have just drafted, literally a season ago in the second round. So, literally, the Caps went from being bottom feeders, it seems like, to being a very good team, which is kind of scary. They also have Kim Sonnenberg, who was originally a Buffalo Sabres pick. I think I remember him in Buffalo at one point. I don't know if he was there last year. Yeah, he was there last year when we played them. That's why I recognize him. They also have Brady Tkachuk, still at 35 years of age. He's still putting up good numbers. They have actually some pretty good offensive players, it looks like. Third line, Garrett Grossman, who's 85 on their third line. Wow. Yeah, this forward core is pretty scary in terms of their depth. Pasi Tarvinen, also drafted by them, or Tarvinen. Jeff Chipchura as well. And then fourth line, Jack Studnicka is a little bit weak. He's dropped off a lot, it looks like. They also have Jason Polacek and Isaac Ratcliffe. So, for the most part, this is a very veteran-heavy team, except for Ned Brennan. So, I could see why they might have missed the playoffs, but they do have some pretty good depth in terms of their wingers and centermen. It's just a little bit weaker on this right side, but it is still a very good forward core. And then defensively, they are weaker than us, which is a good sign. They have Kip Osgood, who looks like he's a solid defensive defenseman so far this postseason, as well as Nils Lundqvist. And then they have Ville Heinola, who we literally just had last playoff run, didn't we? Yeah, we had him just last year in the playoffs. We brought him in to help us out, and now he's in Washington, of course. They also have Adam Ginning. They also have Jackson Bellamy and AJ Evans. So I think we beat them defensively. They might beat us offensively. And in goaltending-wise, it's probably a tie. Even though we do have the better backup, they have Wesley Keith, who was drafted by LA, and Howard Scott as their backup. And then depth-wise, they have Jeff Voros. Interesting, they have another Voro, but it's Boris Vorobev, who they drafted in the second round. And they also have a depth goaltender, which I don't know why they don't send him down to the minors, but they have Nicholas Riley. So overall-wise, I think it could be a little bit of an even series just because they have a better offense than us, I would say, and then we have a better defense. Let's take actually a quick look at our overall ratings compared, because I'm kind of curious on what our ratings will be like to them. So we have 92, 91, 88, and they have 87, 83, 85. So we technically beat them in every category. It just comes down to who could win the series, I guess. Let me take a look on how they did during the regular season in terms of goals for and stuff like that. Since we both had like the exact same record in the season, I'm kind of curious on who had like the best power play and stuff. So in terms of goals for, we scored 2.83 goals during regular season, while they scored 3.07, so they are better offensively. They allowed 3.02 goals for, while we allowed 2.84. So we are better defensively, they are better offensively. Even though they did allow almost the exact same amount of goals. They almost allowed the exact same amount of goals as they scored. Pretty similar to us. They had a 21.5% on the power play, while we had, what did we have? We had, it was a 19.3. So they beat us in terms of the power play. We had an 81.9% on the penalty kill, while they had a 78.3. So yeah, it's just a good offensive team versus a good defensive team. Should be really interesting to see who could win out of these cheese teams. And then let me check actually quickly the Western Conference. So Vancouver had a really good season. Finished still in 5th place in the West with a 51-28-3 record, which is ridiculous. And then St. Louis had not that great of a season. So St. Louis is another cheese team that's made it really far. But Vancouver is definitely the best out of the remaining 4 teams in the postseason. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the conference finals against the Washington Capitals as we look to make it to the Stanley Cup finals for the first time in this series. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.